Tell me how that transition was from stockbroker to creating your own business.
It was really interesting because when I got into interior design, I knew nothing about their business model, and I didn't know a lot of designers. In fact, I don't think I knew any designers back when I first got involved in the design world. And so I built a business based on the brokerage industry. I literally said, well, this is how they did it. It's a super successful model. Why don't I do the same thing? So I built it based on having specialties and having a team approach, because when you were a broker, when you were putting a portfolio together, you didn't necessarily need to be an expert in oil and gas. You would pick up the phone and ask the oil and gas expert, what stock should I be looking at? This is the type of client I'm dealing with. And that's exactly how I built our team. It was all based on specialties and working in teams, and had a very similar payout structure to the way that I was paid. I find one of the things that I use in almost every contract negotiation or any negotiation with any person I work with is what's in it for me, not me, but for them. Because I know what's in it for me. If I'm asking you, Elton, can you do a podcast for me? I know what my ask is. But then I have to think about, what's your ask? Why would you want to do that for me? Is it financially motivated? Is it that you're going to get a further reach on your audience? Always thinking about what the other person wants is how you do a contract. So I started thinking, what would get me out of bed in the morning to work for another human being? Why would I clamor to be successful and make anybody else any money? And that was how I built the whole pay structure.
Who were you most focused on, the end client or your staff or your team?
I mean, in the beginning, it was a little bit of both because I was designing at that point, but now it is fully my staff. My job is to enable my staff to be successful. My job isn't to get them clients. It's to give them the tools they need to be successful. That's my job.
Tell me more about the early stages. What was the main challenge that you faced first? Mm-hmm. And then what did it evolve to?
I think the main challenge in the beginning was knowing all of the really technical pieces. I have a great eye and great vision. I have no problem. I can put a space together very quickly. I can furnish a space very quickly. I have a brain that just does that. But it's relaying the information to the people who have to do the work that I couldn't do. I'm not a technical person. I'm not a technologist. I don't know how to use AutoCAD or any of those things. That's just not my background. So I started to, I hired my first employee, and Alex, and she's been with me the longest. And she was the one who would come with me to everything. And she would take my brain and put it into what the technical terms were for the builders or for the clients. And so that part was, I think, the most difficult. And I think the other thing is just trying to figure out the industry, because it was, to me, it was built very illogically. Like, it didn't make a lot of sense the way that these firms were structured. So I kind of forged my own way through it because I didn't like what I saw.
What didn't you like?
I didn't think that the designers were paid very well. I think that there was a lot of onus on a designer. There's really only a couple lanes they had. They could either start their own company, which meant they were CEO, CFO, COO. They were their marketing person, their HR person. They did all of the invoicing. They were everything. And in doing that, it meant that they had a very large portion of their time dedicated to doing activities they were either not good at or they didn't like to do. So it took away from the time they could bill. So at the end of the day, if they were billing out whatever rate they were billing out, they were losing a huge amount of hours to something that they really weren't skilled to do. Then the other way of being hired as a designer was to work for a firm, which meant you made $25 to $45 an hour, whatever the going rate is in any given community. And when I looked at the number of years that the designers were going to school, I was like, why are you doing that? That's just not enough money for you to be earning. So we developed more of an agency model where the designers who work for me are required to bring on their own clients, and then they bill their clients and they do the design work. That's all they have to do. We have people who do all their billing. We have an HR person, obviously have a talented creative marketing department. We do all of their technical stuff, like if they need any kind of business card or anything like that. We cover all of the things they don't need to do. They just need to get clients and do design. And in doing that, all of their time can be dedicated to billable hours or selling furniture, because we also sell from 200 lines of furniture, which gave them another avenue to earn money. So my whole premise was, When I think about any person in any kind of job, there are certain things that you're really successful or good at. Like for you in your position, obviously you're a very talented interviewer. There are certain things that you do every day that I call it wear a cape for. It's what you're a superhero in. If you can find someone's superhero abilities and let them do that all day long, that's where they make the most money. And that's where they feel the most energized. But you throw me into an accounting meeting, you've lost me for the day. Because by the time I'm done, I can't, all my energy is spent trying to get through that meeting. It makes me tired. It's just not a good use of my time.